Well, good morning. This is Rose from Wild Rose Bohemian, and I thought I'd just jump on. This will be the first episode on our channel. Thought I'd jump on today and just give you some basic tips and tricks for working with our kits and in working with digital junk journal kits in general. Bear with me, as it's taken a little bit of time for me to find some confidence to jump on and go ahead and record some things. So a journey starts with one small step. This will be the first one. So, okay. So the things that I want to share with you have to do, first of all, with printing your kit. And the quality of the images that you get can vary greatly depending on the type of paper that you use. It's expensive to use photo paper for everything, and I don't actually always love that. The paper that I've come to love the very most is this here. It's an Epson presentation paper matte. You can see the difference between these two cabinet cards here. And I put them together. So you can see the one on the right here, this one, is just printed on regular cardstock from Walmart. And a lot of the things that I print for my kit work just fine on something like this, but images that are photographs or items that I'd like to be focal points, most often my fussy cuts, I will choose something like the Epson presentation matte paper. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to share with you is that when I'm creating the kits, sometimes I include a background paper, but not always. And one of the things that I like to do that creates a lot of unity and also to help make the kit feel cohesive is I choose a background paper. So I chose this one here. Sometimes it's included with the kit, or I just choose one. And I use the same background paper for every single item that might get a background printed on it. Make sure that the background matches with the kit, like this one does here. You'll notice that almost all of the items, I don't know if I said anything else out, all the other items that have a background have the same background. And then what I do is that I keep all of the scraps from when I cut things out. And the reason that I do that is that I like to use almost every little bit of paper. I really don't like throwing things away, and one of my biggest pet peeves is kits that have so much white space that gets thrown away. And I know a lot of that is because designers like to be able to create in both size A4 and the US. So I try to do that, but not always. So I use the scraps for a couple of things. One, I always keep the scraps and then put my sentiments on the scraps if I need to find a way to have the scrap, the sentiment pop. It's one of the ways I use it. Another way that I use the scraps is creating some sort of edging or ruffle. Quite often my pages are lined with something like that. Here's another example here. I really run on a really small budget. I live on a tremendously small amount of money because I live with my children, and working's been tough, so I don't often spend a lot of extra money on things like lace and fabric. I'm not saying I wouldn't. I did have that at one time, but I also don't have a place to store it, and part of the reason why I save also all of the pieces of paper is that I like to use them in collage, and I like to use them to help pussycats pop. Okay, so another tip I have for you is, well, it's not a tip, it's really a question that gets asked often for me, is why is it that so many of the tags that you provide, just look for this for a second, like this here, why is it that all of the tags that you provide most often have a square edge? Why do you not create some kind of a fancy top in your kits that have a special edge? And the reason why is because I find I like to reuse pieces often. They may be designed as a tag, but they end up being used as something else. For example, this tag here, when cut out. By the way, this is a beautiful journal kit. This kit is the March subscription kit over on our coffee shop, and it is the Shabby Chic French Blue. There's two junk journal kits. One of them focuses on Easter and has a lot of Easter images, and the other one is more like a French floral. They go together beautifully, but that's what we're looking at here right now. So this here, so this tag, I've left the top edge, which is another tip I have for you when you're cutting things out. I've left that open, and what I might do, because this is printed on both sides, is use it as glue here and use it as like a tip in. I was using it to create a flip, and if I had a special edge on the top, I wouldn't be able to do that. And I can always later on cut a special edge on it if I wanted. The way I would do that is by folding the tag in half. One way to do that is fold the tag in half and then choose, by cutting it in half here, choose the type of edge that you might have. And in some ways I've gotten more of a unique shape than I would have before just by doing that. And this, now you can see it has a fun edge here. I like to experiment sometimes with that. Let me see if I can get that to pop a little more for you. You can see the edge now that I created by doing that. Other ways that I enhance the creativity of using the square tag would be to use my paper punch and do the very same thing with that, which is, you can see like on this edge here, this has like photo corners, but with this very same tag also, the one that we're talking about here, this one, not particularly one with a girl on it or an image or something like this, but more of like the background tag that might come with it. Sometimes I might fold them and create an envelope, like something like this. And another way that I might use the tag when they're folded like that is, you notice that oftentimes the way that the tags are placed on the paper, again, this comes with my not wanting to waste a lot of paper. This one doesn't come that way, but a lot of them come like this. Here's a good example where I've got a couple of choices when I'm cutting this tag out. I can make a double-sided tag by cutting them lengthwise. Okay, this tag here This one was cut from 2 pieces. So I cut this out here and then folded it together, and what this has, it's not completed, is a little tuck spot here to slide something in. So that's another reason. Let's see. I think that's probably a good explanation. I think I may end up doing a whole video that shows you all the different ways that you can just use the squares that are included. Okay, so another thing I want to suggest for you is that as you're cutting your kit out, to pay attention to all of the parts of the paper. This one, for example, has an edge here. And oftentimes when I cut something out, I'll leave the edge, this pocket here. I've left the edge, which is like this piece here, just in case I might want to, like I showed you with that flip in, make it a flip in some way. Because leaving it here gives me something to attach it to. If at the time that I end up inserting it in the place I want in the journal, then I go ahead and cut it off. But it helps me to give myself options. Here's another example of asking you to think just outside the box here with the things that are given to you. As an artist for life, I really love it when I'm challenged by a limitation on a few things, and for me it's been a limitation on things I could buy and things I could store, and so things have had to have multiple use. This is one of the envelopes from that kit, which I absolutely love this envelope. And you might look at it and you think, okay, for sure that's an envelope, and so I'm gonna put it together and fold it and make an envelope from it, which might look like this when it's completed. Instead of thinking of it just as an envelope, I challenge you to look at it as possibly a file folder or a flip. Like this here, I left this edge purposefully here because in this spot in my journal, I use the envelope here to create a tuck spot here, tuck spot here, tuck spot here. I added pockets to the side of this here, so all of that little piece that I showed you is just this here, folded like this, decorated, placed in the kit. And I probably will also do a video to show you more fully how I made this flip. But the challenge I'm saying is to not just think of things as what their intended use was, but also what they could also possibly double or triple as. Like, for example, if I cut this piece and this piece off, I could just make it a pocket that's a flip pocket. Like if I was going to do kind of a waterfall something. Okay. Another suggestion is this: often the smaller pieces that make journal cards like this are placed in such a way that it's very easy for you to make a zine. So this is where I'm suggesting to you, these cards could be cut out individually. They could be cut into file folders using these two things here. They could be cut into a side, a tag that fits together with this orientation, right? Or with the side orientation. And like I mentioned, might create a pocket. They could be turned on its side, cut out, made into a pocket, a special pocket that I often include anyways, but could be very easily made into this shape here. Got the edge here. They could be folded together and be a flip pocket by cutting this here, so that something might tip in if they were folded back to back and flip like this. But it can also be used as a zine, and this here, I made a zine from this here really very easily. Okay, there's a spot in there. I haven't finished it or decorated it, but that's what the intended use was here. And if you are interested in making zines, a lot of my kits have this kind of layout for it so that you can make a choice about how you use something like this. And Margaret Miller is probably my favorite person with the many tutorials on how and what to do with creating a zine. Okay, another thing that seems important to show you is quite often things will be placed like this on a page. You ask again about the rectangles. Okay, so they're often placed like this. This can create all of the things that I mentioned, maybe not a zine because it's not arranged the way a zine would go, but I often use these to create paper clips. So just by folding here, here, and here, all of a sudden what I've done is created 5 paper clips. And what I do then, there's quite a few paperclip tutorials out there. I don't know if I need to make a paperclip tutorial on what I do, but I kind of go like this. If you think maybe I should make a paperclip tutorial from the pages like this in our kits, let me know. But you do something like this. You place them here, okay, and then they're glued together. This, glued together and then cut, and then you can see this is the piece that would slide over your journal like this. So this would make 5 separate paper clips to decorate. Cutting things down to size. Okay, so a lot of the pockets, the side pockets here, are extra wide, and they will fit tags that are for 3x6 when there are 3x6 tags that are included, but they fit like a 3x6 tag. But I encourage you to not just only think about them in terms of that. Part of what you can do is to actually, you could fold these in half and change the size. Just challenging you to use your creativity with what's given in the kit and some of the decisions I've left for you, as opposed to making them. I like to have options because maybe I print this up 3 times and I use this in a couple of different ways, not the same way each time in my journal. Okay. Sometimes I take individual pages that are actual pages that are printed, and they'll have multiple uses. Like, for example, this one here would be something that might be a tip-in. So I'll leave that edge we talked about here. This is 2 here. Yeah, I'll leave that edge here, and because it's printed on both sides, I might glue it in like this. Maybe I glue this side, maybe I just make it a flip, I'm not sure. But I'm encouraging you to think of some of your journal pages that way too, not just as parts that make just a page, but to make it more interesting. For example, this one could be folded over. And here again, this edge here, this could be folded here, like this. Not wanting to make a full commitment there, but and then folded in here. And used to glue into a journal here. Maybe making a pocket, I'm not sure, and maybe it's just one-sided, but I didn't intend to use this one for something like that initially, so I didn't print double-sided on it. Okay, another tip. When I'm creating ephemera, that is like these pieces here, particularly cabinet cards that are included. I'll have to do a whole video on cabinet cards. But things like this, I generally like to print them on the Epson matte photo paper, which is fairly thin, and then place it on some sort of cardboard. There's another one here like this. Quite a few of these. They have some thickness. This one here has paper on the other side of it, but I place it on some sort of cardboard so that use some like card like this, so that it's thicker and prints out nicely. So that's the tip on that one. I cut it out then after the whole page is glued, and then I age them. Do that a lot with like the things. Oftentimes I'll include like a photo strip like this, and the reason I include the long ones are because different places may need something long. So this would be something where if I wanted to, you know, I could cut it down to 2 if I wanted, or 3, and then I'd have something that's extra long. Excuse my voice. Broke into some of the different spots that I create in my journal. It doesn't quite feel real without the extra card. Okay. Oh, before we move on, here's another way that I use the layout of those tags. Here are some more tags from this kit. This is one of the pages here. And all I did was make a folding tag from it. I could alter the edges if I wanted. I think I just folded this just to show you. There's that background paper again. You see there's multiple uses from folding your tag like that and then using it this way to tuck it. Okay. Another thing that I really love to do is to pick one of my favorite pieces of clip art from the kit, like this one here. I use the truck. I really like the truck. What I'll do is often, if it's not done already, this one I did to show you how you can do it, and I'll probably do that more often if it seems to be popular, but I added a little line here, and what you do is the very first thing you do is you score on this line, and then you loosely cut out this truck. So use a big piece of clip art, bigger than you would normally, so that it can become an interactive part of your journal. This one here, this truck, could be, I left the back open. Let's see if I can quickly find. Maybe I can't. The other truck. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, so I left the back open so that I could stuff it with things. Oops. And this one, I'll just use probably alone as just a interactive piece. I'm not sure. It could, because it's Easter, end up with Easter eggs in it. But then I would just use it like it was a tag and maybe tuck it in a text spot like that. Okay. So another way that I would use a large piece of ephemera like that is, put one, I haven't sewn in these signatures yet, is to create like a pocket on the page. So this was folded in half here. One side has the truck on one side, and the other has the truck. So it will take a few things like this here. So it might go like that. Okay, tuck things in there like this. Okay. I just think that it adds a little bit of interest. And like I said, I like to look at things, the shape of them, of having additional use or interest. Okay, I think I have just one more tip or trick for you, which is often I do keep a stash of, this journal is really pretty. This is the Easter one. I just thought you could see some of the beautiful pages. But often a kit like this for me has too many just pages that have images. So I consider, this is the tip, I consider that that I'll need additional pages besides the ones that have lovely images. So I'll often make sure that I have on hand things like book page, which is a repeated theme a lot in my things that I put together. Another thing I love is I have one of those die cut machines, which I don't love because it requires me getting it out. But when I do, I make some textured paper, and really I love a lot of paper that could go with many different kits. This cream color, use a lot of that. Save a lot of the smaller bits from things. I'll just show you here. Like things that I save all of the little bits. This is from like a coffee dye session. These are edges I just happen to save. But I save things like, I have a hymn book, so I have a lot of music paper too that I use. I also have a book that has a bunch of Asian characters in it. It's like a Bible in Asian, like I think probably like in Japanese. Let's see if I have a sample of that. But been using that a lot lately. Okay, not sure I see that, but my suggestion is to make sure that you have some neutral pages on hand. And it just so happens that this particular journal comes, there's an option to purchase more neutral paper that goes with it, and it'll be included in the bundle I put together for this kit. Let me show you that really quick. Like, it's really a beautiful kit. And you can see it could be used for more than just Easter. I'll probably cover up some of the Easter images in this one. I don't know, I really like that bunny, but the second kit has, the second junk journal kit doesn't have any Easter things in it, and it has some replacement for some of these that are not on an Easter theme. Okay, I think that is pretty much, that's all I have to share with you today. Thank you for joining us and tuning in for the first episode. I'm sure that I'll improve as time goes by with what I have to share. Let me see, I did link, and I will link below, another freebie, which this kit had these journal cards that came with it, but they didn't have any sentiments. So I just actually copied the sentiments page, this page, all together after I finished it, and I created it as a freebie, and I'll leave that as a link in the description box as a thank you for watching the gift. I appreciate any comments or encouragement or suggestions you have as we go, questions about our kits, things you'd like to see. We do have a coffee membership, which is really the bread and butter, and it actually that page surprisingly buys a lot of my groceries. It's really surprising how much that page has come to be a special place in our heart, because it allows us some independence from being dependent on Etsy. I'll just take a second before I close up here to show you some of the really incredible ephemera that comes with that junk journal kit. The second one that's not the Easter one. It's got a kite, butterfly, quite a few little birds. Oh, I will have to show you what to do with these bows. You know, it's got things like this. A bunch of these little cottage girls that are some of my favorite things, the paper dolls. I don't know why I like paper dolls, but I do, and that kit also comes with a whole bunch of paper dolls. Let's see, like they're in different sizes. Those would fit on some paper clips. Let's see, but the paper dolls are just the smaller ones. They look like little cottage girls. Anyway, that's just some of the ephemera that, or the pussycats that are included in that kit. But what I was saying about the coffee, our coffee site, is that it's really our bread and butter there, and the regular price there is not necessarily cheaper than Etsy. It's the same price as Etsy, and Etsy is often on sale, but quite often I drop freebies there that are not mentioned, and they're there for like 2 hours. But all of the people that have a subscription there get quite a few freebies that are just there on the site to download. And so if you have interest in our work or learning more about how you can get more freebies, take a journey over there. The one thing, before I close up really quick, this bow, for example, this is another interactive piece that I might have made, like this one here. Except for, I just really love placing unique items on the top of tags. I'm not sure I'd use this one because it covers her up, but imagine this was a tag. It's like creating a unique top to a tag. Anyways, thank you for watching, and please be sure to subscribe and like if you enjoy our content. And again, ask any questions or offer any comments. We appreciate our community so much. You just really take the time to thank you right now, because it's changed my life really in some pretty incredible ways to be able to share my heart and my art with other people. So hope you have a great day. Thank you.